Okay, good morning, everybody. Everyone having a good day so far? Day 2 at JNUC? All right. Who's ready to party tonight at the party? Me too. All right, so just a quick note, if anyone needs live captioning or language translation, there's a QR code on the table back by the video camera if that's something that you need. So let's get started. Again, welcome. My name is Kevin Green. I am the Director of Channel Sales here at Jamf, and this session is titled Forged in Fire, Building Team Unity Through the Chaos of Endpoint Management. Love that title. And we're joined by a whole pack of team from Arctic Wolf. Get it? The pack from Arctic Wolf? You ever heard that one before? Maybe, I'm sure not. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Erica. Just get this thing started. Take it away, Arctic Wolf.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Forged in Fire. So I get the pleasure of introducing our speaker today. He's a man who primarily leads through inspiration and genuine care, with heart, humility, and a belief that if you lift people up, they rise higher than you could ever imagine. As Ted Lasso says, believe in yourself, stay curious, and be a goldfish. Please welcome a leader who makes all of that possible, our boss, the reason that our team thrives, Blake Wiessner.
Thank you. Hello. Can you all hear me okay? Awesome. Welcome, JNUC. Pressure and chaos do not create weakness, but it reveals it. And with the right mindset, the right leadership, and the right people, pressure can also forge something unbreakable. Hello, my name is Blake Wiessner, and I'm truly honored to be speaking with you today. So roughly 15 years ago, coming from Apple as a Genius technician, I moved into a role as a systems administrator and was handed a brand new Casper Suite environment right out of the box. And like some of you, was told to just figure it out. Since then, I've been using Jamf and working with MDM and various IT roles ever since. But today, I have the privilege to lead the endpoint team at Arctic Wolf. Arctic Wolf is a global leader in managed security operations and security solutions. And the endpoint team at Arctic Wolf currently manages over 6,000 devices between Jamf, Intune, and BYOD. And our journey over the last 4 years hasn't been the smoothest, but honestly, it has been transformational. This is the story of how we stopped the bleeding, rebuilt our foundation, and created a team culture that now thrives under pressure. So in this session, we're going to talk about how we structured and created clarity on our priorities, how we built a team-first culture, and we gave our work purpose and set our intentions, and how Jamf was at the center of it all. So I'm going to take you guys back on a little journey. It's actually 4 years next week when I started at Arctic Wolf. We had 3 endpoint admins overseeing Jamf, Intune, and BYOD, and some SaaS tools that we were managing. We were managing roughly about 1,100 devices at that time, but we didn't know our work streams. We didn't know where work was coming from and why. We were running and just trying to put out fires just day after day, fire after fire, just running around with our heads cut off. The team didn't have any defined lanes, clear areas of responsibility, and worst of all, no direction of where we could support and help elevate the business. We were just holding on for dear life, supporting onboarding of hundreds and hundreds of employees every other week. And like I said, it was just straight chaos. I'm sure some of you guys can relate, right? Yeah. But we knew something needed to change. The book Making of a Manager by Julie Zhao speaks to this mindset: purpose, people, and process. I set my intentions as a leader to focus my time in these 3 areas, and I dove right into process. We needed to streamline workflows and act fast as work was piling up, morale was down, and the team was burning out. Like some of you probably know that as well. So we had to stop the bleeding. Step one was stop the constant firefighting and the unsustainable kind of work and mindset that we were in, and of just constantly putting out fires and not having time to react. If we didn't take control, we weren't going to make it. We needed visibility where our work was coming from and why it was happening and how we could manage it. Only then could we start categorizing, prioritizing, and solving. We needed to automate the manual, repetitive tasks so we could focus on the strategic projects to actually help the business move forward. So, what did we do? The very first thing is we adopted an Agile methodology, what I call Agile Light. This allowed us to do sprint-based 2-week commitments and kind of put our work in that time frame and be able to really focus on specific work based off of priorities. This actually helped reduce the firefighting, and it gave us some momentum. We got our heads above the waterline barely. We had a process. This is something new. We were winning. We had positive movement. But then a fire would break out, and everyone would stop what they're doing and just focus on that fire, and everything else would just stay there. So we needed something to help mitigate those fires and our response to those. So we had an idea about how to mitigate this. If you want to score a touchdown, someone has to block. And so we created a dedicated, what we call SWAT role, that rotated every sprint with the sole focus to block for everybody else on the team so that they could have dedicated time to focus on their work and on their sprint with little distraction or task switching. So not only did this help the members focus on their work, it also gave people an opportunity to get kind of at-bats at reactionary troubleshooting, understand where work was coming from, and really help them sharpen some tools on their tool belt for that kind of reactionary work, as well as advanced problem solving, Jamf scripting, and command line. So we had a decent process with project and task tracking, but we didn't know how much work we had and how much work we were doing. We needed a way to measure our work. So as some of you have probably heard about this, if you can't measure, you can't manage. We started managing all of our work with story points, which allowed us over time to understand how much work we were doing and how much work we had in our backlog to be able to calculate roughly what we could do over a period of time. So step one, process, complete. Yes, we're winning together. And we finally had ways to track and measure our work. So now what? So how can we align our work with how it impacts the business? As you all know, if IT fails, the business fails. This is where purpose comes in. So one day I asked the team, I said, why do we exist as an endpoint team? What are we doing here? What is our purpose? And this is what the team came up with. To ensure all end users are equipped with secure, efficient hardware and software that assists them to do their best work. And that purpose all starts with the right people, using the right tools, and Jamf has been our foundation that has enabled us to create some amazing, amazing milestones to date. And a few of those you can see there up there on board, but Jamf truly gives us the flexibility to create and manage Apple and iOS devices. And I truly believe that if you can think it, you can create it with Jamf. So a perfect example of this is we use Global Protect. We built a Global Protect notification reminder with Jamf Helper or Swift Dialog. It was Jamf Helper in the beginning, yeah. And so the Jamf Helper pop-up ran on a launch daemon that checked for Global Protect connectivity. And if the user wasn't connected, it would prompt them and force them to sign back in. Something that sounds so simple, but had a huge impact on our organization's security posture and allowing the endpoint team to enable and elevate the business. That was our win-win. So let's recap. We have process with streamlined work and project management. We have a SWAT role that helped reduce chaos for project teams. And we were able to get organized and focused and set our intentions on what really mattered and what was the top priorities. We set our intentions on building improvements to reduce the manual work through automation with the whole Jamf suite. And if you haven't checked out Jamf routines, I would 100% recommend doing that. So with our purpose and process aligned, the last and the most important thing is the people. The people that are doing the work and building the solutions. How do you bring a group of people together to create culture and unity that enables them to do their best work? Well, I'm going to steal a little bit from Apple. You have to think different and be different. You have to create a space where people can thrive, not just survive and clock in and out. And one way to do this, to ensure that the team is consistently in consensus. Well, some of you might say, well, what does consensus look like on a team? What is that feeling? Well, I can tell you what it's not. Right? But what about a flock of birds flying in perfect unison? Or a school of fish swimming together, anticipating everyone's movements? You know, crew teams that row together, they call this feeling of consensus the sway. And that sway is a feeling that they are so locked in that they can feel and anticipate everyone on the team's movements and know what everyone is doing. They are locked in and they are unstoppable. So when you truly listen to your team to understand where each person is coming from and include them in the decision process for everything actually changes. Because how can you expect a team to reach a finish line of that big project that's due at the end of the quarter if everyone has a different starting line, a different starting point? So you have to align the team to get everyone on the same page and move forward in unison. This goes into leadership. And I've always said that I want to be the leader that I wish I had when I was an admin. And that has been my North Star. Be the leader that you wish you had. And for our Minnesotans in the room, ducks fly together. So leadership. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating an environment where people can bring their best, feel safe, and speak up, and are empowered to grow and create. A leader amplifies the people behind the outcomes and removes the blockers and advocates for clarity. They coach and lift up the team. And doing so, you unlock the true potential the team didn't even know they had. And when you focus on the people, you truly invest in who they are. Not only will they deliver great outcomes, but they will believe in themselves. And it's that belief that becomes the fuel for every successful sprint, every successful incident closed, and every project that lands on time. So please, without further ado, please help me welcome the Arctic Wolf Endpoint team to the stage. Woo! So we have a few folks from the Endpoint team, as you can see here. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Erica, do you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Erica. I am an IT endpoint admin for Mac.
Hello, everyone. My name's Taylor, and I am a new team lead on our Endpoint Operations side.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Muske, and I'm our macOS iOS endpoint engineer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm the senior endpoint admin for our macOS side.
So Erica, Ryan, and Chris, they make up what is called our 1984 team. They deal with Jamf. They are the experts at Jamf. They are all Jamf 400 certified. Erica actually got her Jamf 100 through Jamf 400 in less than a year and a half, which is huge, huge feat. So what I want to do is this is kind of ad lib in a way. They don't know what these questions are. I'm going to ask them some questions about kind of how we got to this point. And so recently, we actually split up the team into 3 different branches. So we have our Windows team, our Apple team, and our Endpoint Operations team. We oversee everything from Jamf to Intune to BYOD to asset management to asset lifecycle management with Glide. And if you don't know George, go see George later. And this has allowed us to have streamlined, dedicated people to work on the areas that are the top priority, right? So when an incident comes in, we have our Endpoint Operations team, Taylor's team, that helps field that reactionary work so that the projects teams can continue to build and enhance and move the ball forward. So, first thing, Ryan. So Ryan has been at Arctic Wolf since 6 years?
It's actually just a little over 6.5 years today.
Okay, so when Ryan started at Arctic Wolf, he was the very first IT person in the US. So he knows where all the bodies are buried.
Might have helped bury a few.
So Ryan, when I started, what was the environment like?
It was pretty disorganized. Everything was everywhere. Kind of everything all at once. There wasn't any direction. There wasn't any process, if you stated. And it was always, if it wasn't a fire, it was about to be.
And that was just because of the mentality of onboard, get computers out, get them running, get them in the hands of employees. And that was the kind of the mentality that we had. And really, the secret sauce is there. We needed a way to take time, to save time, to be able to reduce our tech debt and actually build automation to reduce the manual work, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't make time for maintenance, it'll make time for you.
That's right. So I want to ask the same question to Taylor. When you started, about 3 years ago now? Just
3
roughly?
years next month.
Yeah.
It was more organized. We definitely had the cohesiveness as a team. I knew that my Mac team would have my back if an incident would pop out, but we were still constantly putting out fires. We weren't able to tread water, if you will. We were just barely keeping our heads above water.
Sure. So the next question, what were some of your biggest challenges we faced as a team in those early days, Taylor?
Team consensus, a North Star,
Purpose?
purpose.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have our purpose. We knew that we needed to come to work every day. We had something to do every day. Did we know exactly what our end goal was? Not really. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of complexity because of that as well, and continuously putting out fires. Always fires. I remember you'd always call it a war room. Slack.
Yeah, when a fire would come out, we would jump in a war room and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep. We haven't had that in a while, have we?
No.
Yeah. So, from your perspective, Erica, what was the turning point from the constant firefighting? So Erica was our actually very first kind of SWAT role. She recently moved into the admin role. So being that very first, what was that kind of turning point from that constant firefighting to what we have today?
I think it was when I took over SWAT
I agree.
and just stopped all of that reactionary work. No, it was, I guess, learning from each other, getting to a place where we knew what each person was working towards, what they were working on, how they were going to get there, what support they would need from one another, and honestly muting a few Slack channels in order to focus and feel as though we have the permission to say, not right now, that's not an emergency for me. I'm going to carry on with what I'm doing here, and I'll circle back around when I actually have the opportunity to. So I think it was really kind of just aligning and feeling comfortable saying no or not right now.
Mm-hmm. How do you think our project planning every quarter impacted our ability to reduce that chaos? If you want to tell them kind of a little bit of what we do with the sticky notes.
I love our project planning. So we take all of our different ideas and priorities and we write them all out. Well, Taylor and I write them all out on sticky notes. And then we put them randomly all over a big whiteboard. And we also make little monies, little Monopoly money type things, like other sticky notes with $1, $5, $20, whatever it is. And each person is allocated like a project fund. And they get to go around and kind of bid on the projects that they think are the most important or the most, like the highest priority. Mm-hmm. And they could put all like $100 on there if they really wanted to. kind of a waste, in my opinion. You should split up your money a little better, but yeah, and then from there, we kind of see what the team thinks is the biggest priority, and we go around and we start resorting all of our sticky notes in order to actually build sort of our project outline for the next quarter, the next 6 months, the next year. And we revisit that every quarter and throughout the quarter to make sure that we are aligned and still focused on those priorities or have those priorities changed, et cetera. Yeah, I think it works really well, and it gets better every time, gets faster every time.
Awesome. So up next, so let's go to Chris, because we haven't heard from him. What is a project or initiative you're most proud of being a part of?
Well, recently I got to make a installable version of a program that we use it's called CARE, for Computer Automated Reboot Enforcer, because we've had a lot of people. We used to do it through Jamf as a policy where the device would check in, verify, hey, you've been up X amount of days, it runs a script, notify through Swift Dialog. Well, we discovered some people would delete the script or disconnect from the network. You know, they would pull some tricks.
Be end users is what they would do, right?
Yeah. So
If there's a will, there's a way.
Will's away. So now I've written it into essentially a bash script with some launch daemons and a few other things, launch agents, so we can, with managed preferences, locked it down a lot more, and made it so it's a 3-hour timer. As you get closer to the 30-day mark, they get notified every 3 hours to reboot their device. I'm very proud of that because we did it, with the help of the team here. In about a month, we were able to really nail it down and get it going. And right now, it's in our final testing phase with our company before we deploy it to all 4,000 devices.
And just a few years ago, we didn't even have a policy that didn't force reboots. And because of that, with different applications and memory and different apps that have memory leaks or whatever it could be, that was impacting our service desk, which was impacting us. And so we took the time to save time by creating an automation that helped reduce impact to the team.
A lot of the times was, a simple reboot is what fixes
We all know that,
99%
right?
of the problems.
Who isn't doing who is doing a reboot script? Anybody? If you're not, you should definitely do it. It'll help your
It will
organization
really
immensely.
help. I think
Be
our
able to
record was we had one person at R&D that was up for almost 2 years because they refused to even update their devices and everything. It got ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's really because of the processes that we came up with and funneling any outside sources coming in and being unified on our messaging, that if somebody were to go to Ryan directly in Slack, he would say, hey, I need you to talk to Taylor and Blake because that's where the workload comes in. So then we can actually properly align it with where we are and where our sprints are to address it. Because otherwise now he's doing unplanned, undocumented work while we're trying to get other things done.
Right. So Ryan, I'm going to ask you the same question. What was a project or a milestone that you were a part of that had a significant impact?
Well, I presented on it last year.
Yeah.
I have to say, Puma, patch update manager for Apple devices. We were dealing with a legacy patch system, and just every month we'd all sit down for about 6 to 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And manually change the patch titles in Jamf, update the definitions, make sure they're available for who needs to get it. And with Puma, we automated, I'd have to say about 95% of our patching now on macOS, where we use the back end of auto package to build the package and get it into Jamf, and then Puma acts as that front end to show users when an update's available, and it makes it so it's a lot less tickets of like, why isn't this working, or why is my Chrome having issues? It's like, oh, you're just out of update, or you're out of date, go click the update button and Puma takes care of it.
And so, again, we saw a manual process that took 2 or more people's time for patching every third Thursday of the month. And we said we needed to resolve this because if we reduce that complexity and automate it, we'll get time back, we can focus on other things. And to this day, I still remember them sitting in a conference room for 6-8 hours, getting patched on, updating all the definitions, and now it's seamless, right?
Pretty close to.
Pretty close. All right, so I'm gonna ask Taylor this. Where have you seen the biggest impact on aligning purpose, people and process within the team?
That's a very loaded question.
I believe in you.
The biggest impact is when you have alignment with your purpose, people, and process, you have that North Star for your team. And if somebody's out on PTO for a week, on vacation, they come back, we still have that North Star. We have our mission. We know at the end of every day what we are here to accomplish here at Arctic Wolf within IT Endpoint. So I think the biggest impact that we have seen on our endpoint team is consensus, better communication, we're more efficient with our time, like drastically more efficient.
Just the mindset of teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, we're a team, one dream.
That's right.
Yep.
Chris, what about you?
Honestly, for me, is when we split, this would be weird, but when we split our team into 3 separate teams so we could all do our primary focus. We're all still one team. We still all do our planning sessions together. We constantly communicate. Most of us are in the same office sitting right by each other. And we're all bouncing ideas. Even I bounce ideas off the Windows team. Windows bounces off ideas off of us. Like because we're trying to get a similar
Parity.
Yeah, between the
Mac and Windows.
experience between the two OSs. Really, when we kind of did that, it gave us the ability to really hit the ground running and focus and move forward and get a lot of this stuff done, because that's when we really started cooking and moving forward with this stuff, because it's only been about a year.
Yep.
And the fact that Puma, Care, our new Zero Touch program, we're doing infrastructure as code coming up. We're looking into doing that. Like, we're doing a lot now, and we wouldn't have been able to do that 2 years ago.
Yeah. Putting the team into the branches, giving that dedicated focus, having our endpoint operations team control the chaos,
Yes, exactly.
giving us the ability to work on those enhancements, those automations, leveraging Jamf in ways that we didn't in the past.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't have an opportunity to. Yeah.
All right, so what would you tell some of these folks out here that are still that are in IT and endpoint that are kind of still in that chaos mode?
Stop. I'm just kidding. Honestly, what I would say is take a week with your team, do some planning, like step back, tell your other departments, hey, we've got some things and priorities, we have to figure this out so we can move forward and just be better at what you guys do to be able to properly support the other teams. I mean, I have our network team, we're opening and redoing offices, and they come to me, hey, I need to get these caching servers up and running, and I'm like, cool, put a ticket in, we'll see you in 2 weeks, because they sit on the other side of me, but that is not, their urgency is not my problem. Their forgetfulness of wanting to communicate and plan with us is not my problem. I have my own priorities that I need to take care of and my own needs for the business.
But as everyone is in their sprint and working it with what they're committed to, you know, when those fires come up and priorities shift,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, we will all kind of band together to get stuff done. But in a perfect world, people put in tickets, right?
Yeah.
Eric, I'm asking you the same thing. What would you tell somebody in IT or endpoint that is still living in the chaos just because you lived it for a couple of years yourself? What would you tell them to do?
I think, just don't stress out about things that much.
Just don't. This is fine.
It's always good to be very helpful and to support adjacent teams. But I think it's okay to just realign their expectations with what your capabilities are. I think one thing I've learned through the years is if you try to hold on to too many things or try to be involved in too many things, then you're just going to end up drowning. You're going to be stressed out. You're not going to be very supportive to other people, and no one's ever going to learn what you know. So I think it's important to just take a step back and approach every situation assuming positive intent. and always seeing how you can support somebody so that next time they can support themselves. And if that means that you kind of fall a little bit behind here and there, I think it's okay, because next time you won't. Next time you won't even be bothered. You have to kind of fall behind a little bit in order to get ahead.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it's communication, it's setting expectations, and it's taking time. Oh, lovely. Hey. Oh, great. Hey, it works. Hey, that's our launch statement, by the way. Oh, they can't see it. Dang it. Okay. But taking time to save time. If we don't take the time to plan and to communicate and to set expectations with our team members, our leadership, you will never get out of that chaos.
Yeah, I think the first thing I always would do when someone asks for support is just say, hey, I figured it out. Did you want to figure it out with me, or want me to show you what I'm doing or how to fix this? And then show them.
Yeah, awesome. So in just a minute here, I'll be able to click the next slide.
Oh.
Does anyone feel like they're stuck in the chaos today? You guys can be honest, it's okay.
Yeah.
This is a safe environment.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that I would say, if you were going to ask me the question, would be to stop the bleeding. So to Erica's point, you need to triage what's coming at your endpoint team. You need to see, is this a 911? Is this the whole company is stopped? Nobody has access to internet, who knows? Or is this just because somebody hasn't rebooted their machine, right? So stop the bleeding is the number one. So to Chris and Ryan and Erica and Blake's point, take that second to pause. Tell your leadership that it is crucial to do so in order to realign as a team to find that North Star, your purpose, and your process.
Yeah, and something that we have done consistently is looking at all of our manual work, right? And saying, here's all the things that we have to do manually, and how can we use automation? How can we leverage Jamf? How can we leverage other tools that are in our environment to be able to give us time back, right? Perfect example was Puma. There's a bunch of other ones that we have across our stack between ServiceNow, Jamf Protect, routines. So, who's going to be the lucky winner to describe the team in one word? That wasn't a word.
That was all the words.
That was all the words? Go ahead.
A trauma-bonded family.
That's a lot of words.
It's all hyphenated.
Oh, it's okay. It's all hyphenated. All right. All right. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Let us know if you guys have any questions, and someone will rock around and give you guys the mic. Anybody? No. Ooh, yes. You get a prize.
All right, everyone, I'll bring the mic up to you.
We still got those AirPods for the? No, never mind. Never mind.
Crisp high five.
If you can, just maybe stand, introduce yourself, where you're from.
My name is Scott McIver. I work out of a financial firm in Detroit. I also work on a team where our endpoint team is consistently underwater. I was just kind of curious at how you organize your SWAT leadership to potentially leverage your service desk into helping with some of the vanguard tasks, because it seems like our endpoint team, they never have any opportunity, time to do anything proactive for their side, but we usually seem to have a team of people willing to put in the work that should be leading these little projects, but just don't have enough kind of firepower with them.
You guys want to take that?
You want to take it?
Sure. So just to make sure I understood you correctly, how we set up our SWAT team, our operations team. So within our operations team that I lead, there's 3 of us. We do all of our assets, any incoming tickets, triage, as well as try and support other IT teams that need endpoint support to try and block our Apple and Windows teams. So what that looks like is we have dedicated channels in Slack with other IT teams, Service Desk being probably the biggest one that we are in every single day. They're able to pose their questions. Here's our ticket, here's a quick TLDR on what's going on, here's the troubleshooting that I've done, and this is where I'm stuck. Then the Endpoint Operations team is able to jump in, take a look, jump on a Zoom if needed with the Service Desk member to help the end user. If it's something that we're troubleshooting and we are noticing, maybe this is a little over our heads, maybe we want a second opinion, we will then broach the Apple team and say, this is what's going on, this is the severity, so either war room right now or next sprint, this is something we're gonna need to look at, and then our two teams collaborate for that solution. We'll go back to Service Desk to help that end user and also educate Service Desk as well.
And I think another point there too is documentation. So our SWAT group builds documentation for pretty much everything that comes up to enable Service Desk to not have to rely on the endpoint team or the SWAT team. But it still happens. There's things changing all the time. But documentation, really good notes. It all adds up in the end. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Scott.
Any other questions? Who else needs the mic?
If you guys want to chat, we'll be hanging out over here. Thank you guys so much for coming and hearing us speak.
Yeah.
Good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the Arctic Wolf team. And have a great rest of your day at JNUC. Have a good one.